My God, I hate trucks.
Senator Grace Poe is supporting calls to suspend excise taxes on fuel as part of the tax reform packages. Poe, who is the committee chair on public services, calls on the Finance Department to evaluate the suspension of the fuel excise tax. She explains this is to cushion its impact on Filipinos. But the Finance Department disagrees, explaining that it can only suspend the next increase if conditions are met. The clamor for fuel excise tax suspension rose amid the spike in oil prices in the international market. Now, we asked you, how are you coping with the rising costs of goods and services? And a lot of netizens are rolling with the punches. Facebook user Pidon Lagrada says he chooses not to whine but to find ways in order to cut costs. Some of his tips: take the bus instead of driving, plant vegetables instead of buying them, and don't travel when you don't have to. Lord Kurt Dantes keeps his answer simple. He says, smart spending, healthy living, additional take-home pay is greater than household expenses. Rolly Nunez takes the chance for some weight loss, saying, diet, honestly, diet. Meantime, Dolene Peterson lists down some advantages to the higher prices of goods. Among them is a dip in the number of smokers, drinking sessions, and car buyers. He adds it's good for the health because you'll get additional exercise and cut down on vices. Peterson also says it's okay as long as the government will make use of the collected taxes properly. Later on in the program, we follow more stories on prices. CNN Philippines business analyst Mike Alimurong talks about rising fuel prices and the weakening peso against the dollar. Stay tuned to Newsnight for that. The Philippine ID system bill is just an inch closer to being enacted into law. Once enacted, all Filipinos will be required to have a unified ID that can be used in all government and even private transactions. Our Joyce Ilas tells us more.
Filipinos will soon do away with different kinds of identification cards when dealing with the government and private sector, as Congress prepares to ratify the Philippine ID system bill next week. After it is signed by the President, officials carrying out the law will initially roll out the cards to 1 million Filipinos this year, beginning with persons with disability, senior citizens, and the poor.
Ngayon kasi sandamakmak ang ID na ginagamit natin ng bawat ahensya ng gobyerno. May mga IDs ngayon, isa na lang. Isang ID ang magagamit mo sa iba't ibang transaksyon sa gobyerno, maging sa private, kasi sa bangko, usually hihingin sa atin 2 valid IDs. Ngayon, isang ID na lang.
The PhilSys ID will have 13 sets of information. On its face, the ID number, full name, sex, blood type, date of birth, place of birth, marital status, and facial picture of the card bearer. More information will be stored in the PhilSys registry, such as mobile number, email address, and biometrics data, including full set of fingerprints and iris scan. Filipino citizens and resident aliens should register personally in accredited registration centers nationwide.
So that even if you lost the ID, in all agencies of the government and in all private institutions na may scanner, you can transact business by just presenting your biometrics.
Some lawmakers, however, express concern over data security.
Malaking usapin sa atin ang Philippine Statistics Authority, ang kanilang systems dyan ay being operated by a foreign corporation, yung Unisys, no, na hindi malayo na itong ating mga information, no, basic information, yung atong biometrics ay mahak, then it can be used, no, sa ibang kapamaraanan, criminal, commercial, or otherwise.
They also fear that private information may be used to quell dissent.
Dahil yan ay maaari na gamitin sa paniniktik, sa mas pinaigting na surveillance at saka repression ng mga nais pang magsalita at tumutol sa iba't ibang mga patakaran ng gobyerno.
The bill's authors, however, say safeguards are in place to protect data privacy.
Itong ID natin na ito ay talagang kumbaga pinag-isipan at hindi pwedeng buksan kung walang court order. Pangalawa, kung wala pong consent ng individual. At maaari lamang itong buksan kung merong compelling interest ng ng safety at saka ng public health.
Some Filipinos have mixed opinions on the Philippine ID system.
Okay na siguro yung mas marami kang ID para kung mawala man yung isa, mayroong isa. Ayun, kung mawala, wala na.
Okay lang yun. Sa akin okay lang yun. Kasi para mas mapabilis lahat ng transaction. No? Kasi kung sakali, marami pa kasing ID hinahanap, mas matatagalan.
Siguro taasan nyo na lang yung security level ninyo para hindi ma-hack.
The program will have an initial budget of 2 billion pesos this year with Metro Manila, Calabarzon, and the Cordillera Autonomous Region as pilot areas. The government-issued card comes without cost to the owner. Joyce Ila, CNN Philippines.
We appreciate all your online comments on our top story tonight. Keep them coming through our pages at CNN Philippines. We're also live right now on Facebook. Here are today's global headlines. North Korea says its leader Kim Jong-un is still willing to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump at any time. That's after the U.S. leader canceled what would have been a historic summit between them. A top official at Pyongyang's foreign ministry says Mr. Trump's decision is not consistent with the desire of humankind for peace and stability in the world. President Trump canceled the summit Thursday in a letter addressed to Kim Jong-un. He cited recent hostile comments from top North Korean officials and concern over Pyongyang's commitment to giving up its nuclear weapons. Oscar award-winning actor Morgan Freeman is facing allegations of sexual harassment and inappropriate behavior. An exclusive report from CNN details claims from 8 people. They say they were either harassed by the actor or endured improper behavior from him. 8 others say they witnessed Freeman's alleged conduct. CNN reached out for comment to Freeman's spokesperson and, at his request, emailed a detailed list of the accusations against the actor. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello says more than 3,300 companies are suspected to be engaged in illegal contracting. Bello submitted the list of companies to President Duterte today. Bello says these firms were found to be engaged in or suspected to be engaged in labor-only contracting or other illegal contracting or subcontracting schemes that violate an employee's right to security of tenure. The list is based on reports submitted by the department's regional offices. Mr. Duterte last month ordered Bello to name these companies. Secretary Bello tells CNN Philippines the companies on the list are mostly in manufacturing, retail, and hotel sectors, among others. A telecommunications giant and a leading multinational fast food chain are included.
Like for example, yung Jollibee, yung Prrd, yung PLDT, yung mga hotels like Dusit Tani ba yun? O yung, if I'm not mistaken, Sofitel is also one of the non-compliant hotels. Meron din yung mga, generic pharmacy. Nandiyan din yung Toll Philippines. Toll Philippines is also included.
Bello says SM Supermalls is not included on the list because the retail giant has submitted a program of regularization. SM also promises to regularize 10,000 workers in the coming years. President Duterte reiterated his promise to go after these companies when he signed an Executive Order 51, which is a reinforcement of Department Order 174 issued by DOLE last year. The department order imposes stricter regulations in labor contracting schemes, although it still allows some forms of contractual work. The companies in the list, meanwhile, have 30 days to comply with the department order. Otherwise, they will face heavy fines, and the DOLE will issue an order regularizing the workers of these firms.
This is just an initial report to the President because he gave us 30 days to submit to him yung mga companies na non-compliant with the labor laws any standards, especially on engaging yung labor-only contractors. We give them enough time to comply naman. We are also conscious of the challenges of the business. Kaya ang importante is they're willing to comply, and that to us is already a good development on the issue.
We are reaching out to the companies mentioned by Labor Secretary Silvestre Rebello, allegedly involved in illegal contracting. They have yet to comment on the matter.